Hi folks, this is Mighty X. I'm running a T32 American Heavy. I'm about to gain a Mastery badge in this battle. I would like to show you and give you some pointers on how to play this tank effectively, since I've heard a lot of people talk about how it's very horrible. First thing you need to do in this tank is figure out what you're doing. I noticed right away that I'm in a Tier 8 match, makes me a top tier tank. The enemy tanks are not any particular difficulty to pen. So I don't immediately load up gold rounds and end up not loading any during the entire match. So watching the mini-map, it looks like they are making a push to the center. Now the T32 has a weak spot in its hull, makes it vulnerable to shots from pretty much any tank it's going to face. At this point, I decide that I am going to, again, protect the center, because anything that pops up over that hill is going to see my turret first. And that's really important. That turret is going to be my main trolling source. That's my source of armor. So I've got a 5916 that wants to peek and poke at me. He's got some other things that he's dealing with. Makes a mistake of popping over. Now, I'm shot at by the church, but I've got a whole lot of enemy tanks in front of me. The Tiger's the more difficult threat, so I aim for his tracks to track him, because I have friends in the field. He took 105 damage from another one of my teammates. He's not going anywhere. I retrack him, try and get myself into a firing position. Bad angling of the hull on my part, but since he got tracked by an ally, I decide to go for the lower hull. I'm willing to trade shots because he's going to go down faster than me because my friends are shooting at him. Now, I've got 3 enemy tanks behind me, and so I'm going to take advantage. You can see that I can protect both the front and rear of my hull and still have reasonable firing position by pulling myself in. Now, it's important to note I am vulnerable from the back. There's a Jackson, there's a Roomba, and there will be a low there in just a minute that I need to worry about. But I'm waiting for something to happen in front of me. Now the Pershing is going to decide that he's had enough of trading shots with the other tanks out there and is going to make a run for the other side. There he goes. So it wasn't just him. Looks like his friend the Churchill decided he was coming around, and well, the Roomba looks like he might be getting froggy, so I check on him. I don't have any shot on the low. So there's the Churchill. Churchill's decided he needs to make an appearance. Now he's making a mistake. He is coming through and he's exposing himself. There's the Roomba. Take a shot on him. Again, I'm constantly looking for targets. I have a reload of about 8 seconds, and I'm going to use it. So Churchill is playing games. Pershing is being conservative. My poor friend, the Easy 8, is in trouble, but I've got an IS-3 coming up behind me. And so I've got to deal with what's in front of me quick, because it's going to hurt. Don't trade well with the Pershing there, but the Churchill's about to make a fatal mistake because he keeps peeking and poking in the same place. There's that IS-3. My hit points are low. So I'm going to play turret games with him. He's got a weak spot right there at the top of his turret. Up close, I can take advantage of that, and he really, because my mantlet is pointed at his gun, has to aim for my commander's hatch. And I dodge enough to make sure he can't get it. And I know his reload time, so I'm counting. I know I reload faster. He figures out what's going on, backs off. So I chase. Again, I know I've got a faster reload time. He ducks into cover before I can do anything, and he's going to take a hit here from a teammate, fellow IS-3. He's one-shottable. Decides discretion's the better part of valor, so I stopped watching him, and I didn't move my mouse quickly enough, but I killed an AMX 5100 that was coming around the corner. Again, I'm not focusing on one target. I'm looking at eliminating as many enemy tanks as possible as fast as possible. Now here, I'm trying to do a threat assessment, figure out where the enemy is. Notice that the T34-2, who's the best player on their team, is behind me. He's the guy I've got to deal with. Now there's a car here. This car is an important piece of terrain. I am going to use this car to keep me safe from that enemy tank. My hull can be pretty much hidden behind it, but my turret's exposed. I'm going to trade shots with him. Guess what? He killed the car. I took no damage out of it. So he decides discretion is the better part of valor, tries to run. There's only 2 enemy tanks left at this point. I'm thinking I'm going to go for the 34-2, but since I've got most of my team going on a southern push, looking north, Hellcat's kind of out of it. He was last seen on the 0 line, but he's going to pop up in the city here and make a run for it. There he goes. So now I make the decision, you know what? I'm going after the Hellcat. I've got 4 friends going after the 34-2 and 1 already running with him. I'm not going to bother. It's a waste of my time, and I can't have that Hellcat either escaping or back shooting. So again, playing to the T32's strengths, even though I'm chasing the Hellcat, I'm not following a straight line path. I'm going to make sure, instead of trying to cut him off and play the angle, I'm going to rely on my turret armor, and I'm going to take the saddle in between these 2 hills here so that my turret's exposed first. And I've got some side protection for my hull in case the Hellcat decides to get froggy. But he's run off. No sign of him. I can take at least 2 shots, more if he shoots at my turret. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm chasing, but I'm taking the long way, specifically to make sure that I've got as much surprise and presentation of my turret as I can. I know he's faster than me. I'm not going to catch him by speed, so I don't try. Poke over the hill to see if he's in this little corner here, tucked in. Proximity spotting, he's not there. So I start looking at the next couple places. You've got the bunker, doesn't look like he's there. Check the hill line, he's not there. He's not immediately visible in the field. So now it's let the KV-1S check the center of the field. I'm going to check the bunkers on the edge. He's not tucked in there. Check the next one. It's possible he's gone to, you know, A1. Nope. Not there. So I'm going to let the KV-1S light to the south. I'm going to keep going in case he's trying to hide at the A1 corner. Turns out he's not. He's going to be behind that bunker at C2. KV-1S will spot him right about now. There he is. Hellcat's got to poke out somewhere. He doesn't have a whole lot of options. He makes a mistake. I burn him. And so I end this match with almost 3,700 damage, and I end up with my Mastery badge, 5 kills. I relied in this match on the mobility of my tank, on the hull armor of my tank, on the rate of fire on my tank, and making the decision to go after targets that I could take out as quickly as possible. The Churchill and Pershing earlier in the match. I could have gone after the Pershing. Pershing's a harder target than a Churchill, so I went after the Churchill. I went for that relentless math, take out as many tanks as I can. Focus fire. Tracking the Tiger early in the match was key because, again, it wasn't just me fighting the Tiger. I had friends that were already shooting at him. So I relied on those friends to increase my effective DPS and took one of their more powerful tanks out of the game in relatively short order. That's the kind of play you need not only in the T32, but in tanks in general. Thank you very much for listening to the video. If you've got any questions, comments, criticisms, I'd love to hear them. Post them in the forums or respond to the YouTube page. Thanks.